What up, everybody? Welcome to the Smoking Tire Podcast. We got a new advertiser this week. This one's brought to you by My Wall Street. You know, I don't understand a thing about the stock market. That's why I tend to buy watches and cars. And when I first started investing in U.S. stocks, I found that brokers made it really easy to invest in any stock I wanted, but I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know what to do. I had no idea if the portfolio I was building or the stocks I was investing in were going to make me any sort of return. That's where My Wall Street comes in. Even though it was easy to set up a broker, but I didn't know how to get money, My Wall Street is now there for me. They offered a short list of stocks that their experienced investors had spent countless hours researching. And that's the difference with My Wall Street. You're the one in control, but they provide you with the information you need in the form of those thoroughly researched stocks. They act as an investing companion, not a broker. There is a difference. Brokers get cuts from when your trades. They incentivize you to make these trades. My Wall Street doesn't do that. They help you take the first step into the world of investing, guiding you towards making educated decisions throughout your investing life. Here's the deal, folks. All our listeners can access the entire My Wall Street app on iOS and Android for free. Use it for 30 days free instead of the normal 7-day trial. Visit My Wall Street, that's mywallst.com/TST to download the app and get access to their market-beating stock picks and expert guidance. After your trial, you can continue your investing journey with them for just $9.99 a month. That's My Wall Street, spelled mywallst.com/TST to download their app and get access to their market-beating stocks and expert guidance. mywallstreet.com/TST. Get it, folks. Remember that Nextbase dash cam we were talking about? Oh, they back too, and they took my advice, and they upgraded their discount code, not only giving you guys, the listeners, more, but also making it simpler. Nextbase is the world's leading dash cam brand. They are now available in the U.S. You've seen the crazy Russian dash cam videos. You know the ridiculous, stupid, and dangerous things that can happen on the road. Or maybe you just want to share something on social media. Nextbase is more than just a dash cam. The Series 2 range includes 5 models packed with exciting features, stunning image quality, 1440p resolution, and an IPS touchscreen. Don't fear parking lot hit and runs. Intelligent parking mode detects and records any movement around your vehicle while your vehicle is parked. There's an SOS feature, potentially life savings, with immediately alerting emergency services if it detects a real problem. There's cabin cameras, it gives you this lovely peace of mind. It's good to have, man. Evidence. It's evidence. And here's the deal. Code 20SMOKING on Amazon. That's 20SMOKING will get you 20% off the entire Nextbase dash cam range on Amazon. Code 20SMOKING gets you 20% off all Nextbase dash cams on Amazon. You heard that? 20SMOKING, 20SMOKING, 20% off all Nextbase dash cams on Amazon. Get them, folks. They're sweet. I've got one. And speaking of that, the Brio Beardscape, also sweet. I also have one. This is a great buzzer, trimmer, beard trimmer, and I ended up there after trying all the other trimmers available normally, commercially. There's always something. The Brio Beardscape is the one that does it all because it's portable, it's light, it's battery powered, but the battery it's got is a beast. It lasts for a real long time. The motor, also quite beast. It cuts through my Syrian thick fur, which might be slightly TMI, but that's neither here nor there. But it's got a battery display so you know exactly how much shave time remains, a ceramic blade that you don't have to oil as often as stainless steel. It stays nice and sharp, and a handy carrying case. Upgrade your face, folks. The Brio Beardscape rules. Go to Brio for Life. That's BRIO, the number 4life.com. Brio4life.com. Use code SMOKING, SMOKING, at checkout at Brio4life.com. Upgrade your shave, upgrade your face, look good like me. That's what it is. Lastly, of course, Autotempest.com. They've been with us a long time. We love them. When you're shopping for a car, go to Autotempest.com. You know why? It's not a car site. It's all the car sites. It aggregates all the important used car sites into one place. Saves you time, saves you money, because your time equals your money. At least my time equals my money. Auto Tempest, it looks at all the main car retail platforms like Cars.com, Cars Direct, Car Soup, and eBay Motors, and it connects them with the results from AutoTrader and all of Craigslist nationally. They are time savers because you don't have to type in the same garbage over and over and over again. It searches all the sites at once. How hard is that? They don't want anything from you, just to use the other sites through them, which you can do because it uses all the other sites at once. Got it? Autotempest.com is the jam. All right, on this episode, we're going to take a bit of a left from cars. For some of it, my old pal Tristan Eaton is in the studio. Tristan is an artist, a street artist, a spray can artist. He's a physical artist in terms of consumer goods. He used to design toys for the company Kid Robot and created a lot of their really well-known aesthetic. He's done murals. He's done unbelievable work. And back in the day, he turned my Mini Cooper into a real art car. And so I haven't seen him in like 10 years, but the guy is super successful. He's really cool. He's got a great story. Tristan Eaton on the Smoking Tire Podcast.
That is the result of Bob Bondurant's one and only time ever sliding a front-wheel drive car on lunch trays.
Oh, my goodness.
That's rarer than a fucking
dope.
Bob Bondurant trophy.
That's pretty dope, dude.
We brought those. We were fucking around doing a shoot at his school. Tristan Eaton in studio.
What up, guys?
And we were playing on Bob's track, and he always like let us fuck around on the track. And we had this like a VO Chevy rental car or something, and we're like, dude, we got this big skid pad. Like, let's do a little lunch tray sliding. Like, fuck it. We like went to In-N-Out and got these trays. Came back, and Bob Bondurant's all, what are you guys doing? That looks kind of like fun. And we're like, Bob, don't tell me at like 79 years old you've never slid a car on trays before. He's like, no, I've never. I was like,
what?
Get in the fucking car, Bob. And we put the car on lunch trays, and he shredded it.
And that's what it did?
Yeah, it melted right. Well, you know.
That's amazing.
You're really supposed to use metal trays. It's not really, quote, lunch trays as much as it's supposed to be baking sheets, metal ones.
That's dope.
Yeah, we got fun shit on the walls here. What's up, brother?
Good to see you, man.
Tristan Eaton in studio. Follow this motherfucker on... I have to get my hotkeys right. I finally solved that problem, people. Follow this motherfucker on the gram, Tristan, E-A-T-O-N, or also at tristaneaton.com.
That's me.
This motherfucker can paint. Let me tell you, this is a person who knows how to paint. Your work, and so some brief background. I had a friend, and I suppose I still have a friend, although I haven't seen her in quite a very, very long time, whose name was Jenny Friedman, and her name is now Jenny
Gillette.
Gillette, right, Gillette, yes, of course.
Little sweetie.
And I met this girl through the grapevine, and I forget how it came up, but she was working for you in Long Island City at your Thunderdog Studios. Yep. Are you still there?
No, man. Jenny worked for me in Dumbo, Brooklyn, and Long Island City, Queens, when I had Thunderdog, my design studio.
Yeah.
But I closed that maybe 6 years ago to focus on my painting.
Okay. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, and you guys know each other through Florida days, right?
Yeah, like it's very weird. Like I went to college with like it might have been her ex-boyfriend actually, or her brother's friend. I don't know what it was, but it was a very strange circle. Right. Either way, we never boned. Either way, she's the best. She introduced me to you. I don't know if it was because I was interested in doing the mini and the connection happened, or if it happened some other way.
I don't know what happened, but I think at that point I had some background in painting like motorcycles and cars and stuff. And she might have brought that up to you or something, and that's how we ended up talking about it. But
yeah, I always had this sort of affinity for the BMW art cars.
Yes.
And so I was always kind of interested, and I had this Mini, and I was like, wouldn't it be fun to like make an art car with like a real artist? And Jenny was working with you. I don't know if I knew that already or if it happened after I decided this, but she hooked it up. You were kind of about this idea, and you decided to get on board with it and do this fucking crazy reflective graphic scheme on my car, which I kept on there for like 2.5 years, right until about when I sold the car. And you've never seen any human being more miserable than the person who was tasked with getting this fucking shit off. It was bad.
It's not easy. And basically what we did was we wrapped the whole car in reflective black and reflective white vinyl. So
I actually think to call it a wrap does you and your craft a disservice because
it was more than a wrap. It was
because it was individual hand cut pieces.
Yeah. So at that time, it was a few years after I worked for a company in New York called Acid, and Acid. It stood for Ariel Chester Industrial Design.
Here it is.
There
Check
you
it
go.
out.
That's the Acid Donk right there.
They do cigars.
Well, now they do, man. All
Not
right,
anymore.
So,
Are they didn't before?
They sold the company, but basically, I don't know if your viewers can see this image, but basically Scott Chester, dreadlock Rastafari, homeboy right there. He was the motorcycle painting master of New York City. So he painted all the bikes for the Rough Riders, all the DMX videos.
I assume he painted this donk we're looking at, which is pretty fire.
He painted that donk right there.
And if you're into cigars, you probably recognize this logo from cigar stores.
Exactly.
It's on cigar boxes.
Acid Cigars, and the logo is him sitting on a motorcycle with his big dreads in the air. And, his bikes and cars became like a fixture of the RTDA cigar conventions and all that. But before all that, in like the late 90s, he was the motorcycle painter master of New York. So back in the 90s...
Was he painting like sport bikes and stuff like that?
It was not Harleys, dude. It was crotch rockets and like ghetto whips, bro.
Yeah.
And let me tell you about the culture of it, because it was crazy. It was like a dude would get out of jail and have $3,000 to his name, sleep in his mom's couch in the projects, and put all the money into the paint job on his bike. That's how it was.
I can picture that
It was
happening.
hood rich shit.
Yeah.
So basically, they would come to us, and the beauty about Scott's position in that world at the time is that you would get whatever Scott was going to paint next. You couldn't really tell him what you wanted on your bike.
I love that.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, I like on one hand, I kind of don't. I kind of get annoyed with it when a chef does it. It's like you're gonna eat what I serve you. But if an artist does it, it's like this is what it is, and you can get in line or not. But if you're on that level, man,
it's also like, okay, if I'm gonna give you a $15,000 paint job for $3,000. You're getting what I want to paint.
Yeah.
And then they would take it out, crash it, bring it back 2 weeks later, and pay all over again.
What am I getting next week?
Yeah.
So wait, could this guy? Let me just, because this picture of him, there's a detail in this picture which I love about him. And those who aren't,
this is the Miami skyline.
It's a super dready guy, smiling, really proud of this donk he's driving, which I believe is an Impala.
Yeah.
I think it's a 70 or 71 Impala,
with 26s
with huge rims.
Yeah.
But in the background is a Maserati bi-turbo convertible that is one of two this motherfucker owned.
Yeah, exactly.
This
That's also
guy
his.
street parked and daily drove a pair of Maserati bi-turbos in Brooklyn.
Yeah, the other one was like army green. Yeah, I remember that very well. But
so awesome.
But he also painted like the New York Yankees bike and painted the frame like wood grain with the Louisville Slugger logo on it. He did like the Tommy Hilfiger bike that was in the Macy's windows forever. And I learned how to paint motorcycles from him. And it was very hands-on. And as a result of painting bikes with him, that's how I got into the Source magazine for the first time, which in the 90s in New York was kind of a big deal.
Yeah, Biggie Smalls taught me that.
Yeah, it was dope. So I learned a lot from him, and a lot of the methods that I learned painting auto body style, with acrylic urethanes and masking systems and stuff, I employ to this day on my canvas work.
So did you actually become an artist by painting cars and bikes first?
No.
Or did you start doing like canvases and then work to cars and bikes, or the street, or dumpsters and train cars?
I was always painting in the street, kind of in the background. That was never like a career goal, But to make a living, I always did cartoons for magazines, rock posters, album covers, whatever I could do, man. You know what I mean?
Oh, the Pearl Jam poster.
Yeah,
Do you have
rock
any of
posters.
those?
I
Any
have
of
tons of
those?
those. Yeah.
Can I please have one?
I have.
or I'll buy one from you. But
wow.
That's a Pearl Jam tattoo. I
Oh,
want one.
man. Dude.
I'm like the fan.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm the
Well,
fan.
we can hook you up with a bunch of those
Cool.
for sure, buddy. Are you
yeah,
kidding me?
rock posters are the shit.
Oh, that's dope. But yeah, so I ended up working with Scott because I wasn't making money anywhere else. And he, taught me how to paint motorcycles. And then, I was in New York trying to make a living and I was broke. And I ended up living at the motorcycle shop. I was like kind of quasi-homeless.
So wait, you were the guy you were talking about before who was like actually you. You crashed the bike every other week, get it painted by Scott.
That might have been me. But yeah, at the time I had a 86 Bronco that was like poop brown. And I was sleeping in the motorcycle shop. And whenever Scott would have girls over, I'd have to go sleep in my car.
Oh, at least it was spacious.
I was hustling, man. Yeah, the Broncos are pretty cozy.
If you still had that Bronco, it'd probably be worth money right now.
No, I got impounded.
Oh,
bro.
no.
Yeah, I was broke. But the irony of it and the kind of poetry of New York is like, if you make it, there's some sweet poetry to, looking back on when times are rough. Because when I would sleep in my car, I would park right outside the River Cafe in Dumbo. And now every time I go to the River Cafe and ball out, it's like, oh yeah, we came a long way.
Now are you like Eddie Murphy when he goes back to the bar and Trading Places and he's like, I got you measly $127.
It's kind of like that. But yeah, also I was sleeping in the motorcycle shop the day 9/11 happened.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and he came in there's a room that we used to use for like light box work for painting motorcycles. And I was like sleeping in there and Scott kicked the door open and was like, Tres, a plane at the World Trade Center. I'm like, shut up, man. We're in Dumbo, right? Which it stands for down underneath
under the Manhattan Bridge
overpass.
Used to be where poor people live. Now it's where very rich people live.
Right. It used to be mostly artists. And I thought like a little Cessna hit the building or something, So
Yeah, me
I
too.
blew it off. So then he came back down and shook me and I ran upstairs. And as I came out of the stairwell to the roof, I had a disposable camera and I started clicking it and caught photos of the second plane hitting the tower.
Fuck out of here, really?
Yeah, and we were right there eye level at the Manhattan Bridge when everyone was running across.
You have
covered
like
in
a
dust
series on that?
series of them.
No
yeah.
way.
Yeah, and my head's in some of them when it collapsed. So we were like there that day, man. And Scott rode his bike all the way down to the ground zero that night. And right next to our building was like a series of stacked, squashed cop cars. Stacked like pancakes.
Yeah.
It's crazy shit, man. It was wild.
That's crazy.
But when I think back to my days painting motorcycles, that memory always stands out.
Yeah.
And real quick, what was really interesting, little fun, weird fact of that day, we were all on the roof, right? And you look around downtown Brooklyn and everyone's on all the roofs.
Yeah.
And when the first tower fell, you know what everyone yelled in unison on all the rooftops?
Like, no.
They all yelled no.
Yeah.
Everyone went, no, but you could hear everyone on all the rooftops yell
Yeah,
no.
that's crazy.
It was really crazy.
like almost like at the way you'd hear a crowd yell at like a sporting event or something like that.
Yeah. But those are such wild times, man, because Scott, he's 10 years older than me and, we went through a lot at the same time together. And man, it was crazy times painting motorcycles, dude. Like there was times when you couldn't pay the rent, the landlord took out the door handle and bust a hole through the drywall and chained the door closed.
Whoa.
So, yeah.
That's got to be kind of expensive.
It's pretty hardcore.
Like I hate these guys so much. I'm gonna fuck my own house like right
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. So Scott had like bolt cutters in his car.
Oh my God.
Cut them open. I remember water. We couldn't pay the water at one point, and we went to Farragut houses and bust open the fire hydrant.
So who was the first person to ever
crazy.
pay you for painting something?
Oh man. There was I had some people in Detroit that were supportive, because I was doing like rock posters and album art in like the mid 90s for a lot of like Detroit rappers, Detroit techno DJs and stuff like that. And funnily enough, do you know who Rude Jude is? He's got a show on Shady FM.
Rude Jude, no.
He's like a pretty famous like radio host.
Okay.
And he had like a big fight with Floyd Mayweather on the air that went pretty viral.
I like him already.
He used to be on the Jenny Jones show. He's like a famous dude who has a lot of attitude. And he hired me to do a drawing of him years ago and paid me for it. I never delivered. And literally like 18 years later, we hung out and I dug through my flat files, found it and gave it to him. He's like, fuck, dude, I was open with interest. I'd get a painting. I'm like, nope, here's the actual art. So I was lucky to get a lot of support really young, man. I started designing toys for Fisher-Price when I was 18. And
How does a gig like that happen? How does that come up?
I had an art teacher at school in Detroit because I went to Center for Creative Studies for 2 years, which is like the big auto body or automotive design school.
Oh, that's the Detroit one that's like Art Center here in Pasadena. We've got one too. Yeah.
They would go in there and like headhunt car designers.
Yeah.
So a lot of that school's budget went to that department, obviously.
Did you ever want to do that?
Never. I was always way too weird and underground and into the darkness of the underworld. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I always loved skateboarding and graffiti and, underground culture. I knew that right away early on because, my family moved a lot, but we always lived in cities. So I was born in Hollywood, moved to London, England from 8 to 16, moved to Detroit from 16 to 20, and then New York City for 15 years. So I always grew up around, city culture. So, the auto biz was way too sanitary for me, you know what I mean? But I respect it huge, bro, because seeing how the kind of ethics it took to work in that department, they work crazy hard, man.
The students I've met at Arts Center here in Pasadena, when I see like the senior thesis work or whatever, where they present, here's the model of it and here's what the interior looks like, and you go, Jesus, that looks really hard.
Yes, the craftsmanship, the innovation it takes, the amazing form.
It's like every single fine art discipline plus architecture and then science in one.
Yeah, and at Center for Creative Studies, they really hammered home the kind of culture of effort it takes to work in that industry. So the way the school programs would work would mimic how hard the real world is. So you have like no social life. You have no extra time. You're always working. And that kind of culture kind of bled over into other departments of that school. And I think I benefited from that because I learned to work my fucking ass off at that school. But outside of school, I was working at a silkscreen shop. I was designing toys. I was doing posters and, all kinds of stuff to make a living, dude. And in Detroit in the mid-90s, it wasn't that hard.
Yeah.
It's pretty cheap.
Yeah. So Fisher-Price, what kind of stuff were you designing for Fisher-Price?
I was designing character toys, man. My
the stuff
style,
you got known for later?
No, not at all. It was for mass market.
Okay.
But my style was kind of very graffiti style, and the style of like graffiti b-boy characters actually looks a lot like the proportions of kids' toys.
Do you remember the name of the toys you made?
Yeah.
What was it called?
Google's Smokey the Fire Dog.
All right.
There's a series called Rescue Heroes.
This guy?
Yeah, boy.
Smokey the Fire Dog.
Look at the next picture over. That's the one.
This one here?
Yeah, and that's almost verbatim from my drawing.
Oh yeah, hang on. Let's see.
Actually, that's not. There's a better one. If you go back now, see to the bottom. Yeah.
Here.
Next one over. Try
This
that
guy?
one. No.
No.
See in the little images.
Yeah.
The one with the cannon.
With the cannon.
Yeah, that
this
one.
guy.
That's the one.
Yeah, he's got a cannon. Okay,
that's the one. That's the actual one I designed.
Oh, there we go.
But I was like 19 years old, and
what an awesome gig at 19 to design a cool toy. It's like a Dalmatian in a fire outfit, but he's got like what basically looks like
cannon.
a nuclear weapon on his back.
Yeah. So it was a random lucky thing, man. And I was sending sketches from Kinko's by fax machine to Buffalo, New York to Fisher-Price, and as you know,
when I met you, Jenny was bragging about you as the toy guy, the kid robot guy.
Right.
Like
that came
was
way later.
Yeah, like that was like the 2006 version.
Yeah,
right.
And now I look back on everything, man, because you can't choose the path of your life, you know what I mean? So things are crazy. And I never intended for spray paint to be such a big part of my life and livelihood. I also never planned to have toy design be such a big part of it. So what the hell?
Yeah.
But, fast forward from when I was in Detroit doing Fisher-Price design, maybe around 2003 or 4, I helped a friend develop this company called Kid Robot, which ended up being a huge phenomenon. And it was artist toys. I designed the Dunny and the Money, which are now in the MoMA permanent collection, which is amazing. But we had stores all around the world, and you'd see Jay-Z rocking our shit.
Let's see.
It was
Give
wild.
me a good. Which one of these would you like to show as a good example of your?
Google Andy Warhol Dunny.
All right.
For God's sake.
All right. Sorry,
Yeah.
I never really followed the toys. But that portion of it, like my wife Hannah, this guy here.
No, look at the Brillo pad one.
Oh, the Brillo pad
Come
guy.
on.
Oh, that rules.
How dope
Wow,
is that?
$225. My wife worked at Mattel,
cool.
so she
Oh, she
was
did?
so she was actually pretty familiar with like the art toys, and like we always go into the stores of like the weird Japanese toys and
Yeah.
puzzles. Like puzzles are actually really her fucking shit. She'll
Really?
she'll do like 1,000-piece puzzle without looking at the box.
Oh wow.
Yeah, she's got some shit that can do that. It's real
that's
crazy.
dope.
Yeah, but the that like pop art sort of collectible toys thing, is that like what happens with that industry? Is it like working?
It's gone. It's ebbed and flowed. It's kind of coming back now. With people like Cause and Murakami still doing like really influential artist toys. It's basically using the method of toy manufacturing to make artwork in limited editions. So it was like making sculpture but using toy factories, and we'd make 100 pieces and then never make that toy ever again, and then it's on eBay for crazy amounts of money, and next thing you know, we have collectors around the world, and there's like a whole culture around it. And Kid Robot was like the first company in America to bring that here huge.
Do you see a parallel with sneakers?
Oh, it was the same culture.
It's the same people collecting the same stuff, right?
It was the same people.
Yeah.
And, we ended up doing some Kid Robot Air Max way back then too, but it was the same collectors, man. But the range of collectors was always inspiring to me, because I would, back then, dude, at the height of Kid Robot, I'd do toy signings and there'd be like 800 people down the street to get their toy signed, which was wild. But a testament to the beauty of that audience was that, at one signing, I'm hanging out and this dude comes up, he's next in line, he's like, Tris, man, I'm a huge fan, I brought this for you, and slides me like a huge bag of ganja in New York when it was illegal,
Yes.
man. I'm like, my
I
man,
have made it.
yeah, I'm like, I don't really smoke, but Jenny does. You know what I mean? So
I probably ended up with that bag at
you
some
might
point.
have, but check it out. A few people later, 2 NYPD sergeants walk up. And they're like, Tristan, huge fan. We brought you these sergeant cards. You know what I mean? I'm like, what is this audience?
Wow.
From drug dealers to cops.
Yeah, in the same crowd.
In the same crowd. And that was really inspiring to me. And it helped launch like a whole generation of artists as well, It was a really cool thing, but it was never something I really planned to do.
Yeah.
That's
kind of cool. I mean,
it's amazing.
It's
it gave
awesome
me everything.
Yeah, and you get to it allows you to sort of like be an artist as well as be like dealing with like the commercial kind of business world of it at the same time.
That was probably one of the most valuable things.
Yeah.
Is that I was able to have art be the main point, but handle the production and management of everything behind it.
Well, that's what I see about your paintings now. Like, because I mainly like follow you through Instagram, and I see your.
You mean my paintings or the murals?
Sorry, murals. I didn't realize. I guess those are different.
Yeah.
But I was referring to the murals, but like just stuff like this, the New York City one I saw. I
Yeah.
remember, would you do the Dolphin? Was it the Dolphin Stadium?
I painted Dolphin Stadium.
Yeah. So like, if you can do, a commission for something as commercial as like an NFL team and have it, still be really your vision. So that's what I find the most interesting about you, is that you're able to like, pretty much from what I see anyway, like be your artist, but it also seems like there's some dollars in painting the sides of stadiums.
For sure, man. And there wasn't always an appetite for large-scale mural work like there is now. But, what I've always said is that, graffiti gave birth to a generation of muralists. And now we're being asked to paint giant walls. But guess what? Now we have a tool that can paint bigger, faster than any other generation before us. So now I can paint a 10-story building in 3 days.
What is the tool?
Spray paint, my friend.
Oh, just spray. Oh, you're talking about
fucking aerosol.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can paint huge buildings in days. And that was never possible in the generation before us or before that.
I thought I'm sorry, I'm retarded. I thought you literally no, I thought you meant something like
Like a
synth-
boom lift or something?
No, like synth spray paint. Like I
No.
thought you meant like, I don't know, you have some commercial grade fucking Ghostbusters paint cannon, you know, like the dog had on his back. You know?
They have those now. If you ever look up my friend Hoxo, he's got some paint cannons. But you know, spray paint is a fast tool. It's an indelible tool. It's a really versatile tool. And for me, it's kind of opened up this portal to like the Necronomicon of my soul to be able
sorry,
to
the blah, 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 blah. Is that a Burning Man word?
No, the Necronomicon is an Evil Dead reference, bro.
Oh,
it's
is it?
like
Oh, sorry.
The Book of the Dead.
Oh, okay.
But it's like when the Necronomicon opens, it's like a portal to hell and everything gets sucked into it. So,
Copy.
You know, spray paint has allowed me to open up like that, where everything comes out, all my demons, everything. And spray paint has allowed me to paint in a way that nothing else really has before on that scale. And it's a really special thing to me, you know.
You're very particular about your paints, right?
Yeah, I work with Montana.
Are you sponsored by paints?
Fuck yeah, dude.
Hell yeah.
Dude, I have more paint in my studio than the art store does. And I haven't paid for one can.
Nice.
But, you know, Montana...
Did you wish 16-year-old Tristan could be like, listen, dude, just hold out. Because one day, you're going to have to get an extra storage room for this shit.
We didn't pay for it back then either. You know what I mean?
April 26, 1992. There was a riot on the streets. Tell me, where were you?
Yep.
I
So-
tell myself that shit every day. Like, 16-year-old Matt, you just fucking wait, dude. You just wait.
You're gonna have me would be hyped to know
You're
what
gonna have a
40-year-old
Lambo
me's
and
doing.
weed's gonna be free. Like you don't just chill.
Oh my god, dude! You know what's crazy, man? I know. Look, I'm not like a huge car guy, so it's cool to be in your world. You know,
But you have enough car. You get in the game. You went on Gumball.
I did
You
go
have
on
to be-
Gumball.
I remember that.
We'll talk about that story. But what I was going to tell you that I don't think you know is that my oldest brother Rob Eaton has worked for Ford his whole life.
Oh, really? What's he do at Ford?
He is like on the special teams where he works. He's a designer and engineer for GTs and Mustangs.
Oh, fuck out of here. Well, he probably
Serious.
worked for my friend Jamal Hamidi.
Maybe
He ran that division until he just left and went to Jaguar Land Rover like a year ago.
Okay, so I'm sure Rob knows him.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
my brother's been there his whole life, dude. And what's really cool is that like he's designed all these like shocks and parts, and you know he'll design these parts and then have to go test them on the track in Michigan, which is dope.
Yeah, is he one? He's one of the certified like sports test drivers.
Yeah, and,
that's a hard job.
And a beautiful thing is that you know he is able to like share patents on a lot of things he designs, so he gets royalties on those items as well.
Now we're talking.
Which is really dope. And
Yeah.
I didn't know that until recently. They do that.
Did you get that for life?
Yeah.
That's boss.
It's kind of dope, man.
Yeah.
But he had like one of the fastest cars in Michigan for a while. He had like a Mustang 5.0 hatchback with like roll bars, crazy engine you hear
like
coming
a drag car kind of thing.
Yeah, and you know, dude, you could hear it coming from blocks away. But then he had the exact same year, same color notchback, and would just switch the plates.
Oh, there you go.
You know what I mean?
I like that. That
And-
happens at multiple levels. There's a legend of a guy who's passed away, but he had a Ferrari Enzo, you know,
Yeah.
and he had one of those FXXs, the race car also, and they were both red. And he would just take the Enzo plate and just put it on the FXX.
There you go.
And drive it around. And if he got pulled over, they'd Google it and say Ferrari Enzo. Like, all right,
Hello.
no, but he would just street drive a race car that way. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good move. I like it.
It's so cool, man. And so my brother Rob is, you know, nothing like my other brother and I, the way our brains work. Like my brother Matt and I are artists, and my brother Rob's an engineer.
It could have been you.
I mean, I don't know.
If you went
I
to,
doubt it.
No, but I mean, like, you know, you had the decision back in the day. You could have been there. You could have gone to that industry.
I don't know, man. Anything could have happened, you know, when you think about it. But Rob, you know, mad respect to him. He's, you know, he has this completely different kind of mind. I could never retain all that information, you know. That
Math, engineering
Yeah.
shit.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, so crazy. But
Yeah, but like, bro, I mean, you know what? I think that's bullshit. I don't even believe you because I'm just looking at this picture right now, and you cannot tell me that you can take an image that begins in your head, presumably then migrates to a piece of paper,
Yep.
and gets scaled up to the size of a fucking 10-story building, and you can't tell me that there's no engineering mind behind that. I don't believe you.
well, there is some alchemy to spray paint. That is for sure.
That too, yeah.
You know, the thing about spray paint is that like every single person will use it a little differently than the person next to him. because of your hand-eye coordination, your instincts, everything. But there's also so many tricks to the trade, my friend, like how to manage the pressure in the paint, what kind of caps you're going to use, what kind of this, that, and the other. And, you know, there's so much that goes into the muscle memory and instinct that goes into someone walking up and spraying the wall that you don't really think about. So it's all this accumulative knowledge that goes into what looks just instinctual, but it's years and years and years and years of practice.
Like stand-up comedy.
Sure.
The point is to look like it's easy, but it's actually only easy because they've been doing it and practiced it for so long.
And you can get rusty if you don't stay at it.
Yeah.
And all of that. And
but like, I'm looking at a giant image of a wall. It's very tall.
That's Moscow.
That's what Moscow. Yes, and we have very good window washing units in Moscow. We hang you from. Don't worry about this.
Actually, the guy who hired me to go to Moscow, I met on Gumball.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, and
this surprises me not.
And this guy owns this huge shopping mall in Moscow, and Gumball is actually a part of this project where Max from Gumball, who I love, shout out to Max, he's the best. He helped kind of curate the project where there's a huge shopping mall and, you know, all the best street artists from around the world painted the whole damn thing. And we go to Moscow to paint this thing, and he has a secret car garage in the mall.
Of course.
And so he's got, you know, Ferraris, he's got all the everything you'd want, but he also has like vintage Russian car brands.
Oh yeah,
from like World War II
Volgas
era.
And shit.
Yeah, dude. I mean, so rad.
Yeah.
So that's what this
communist cars are pretty cool.
They are.
Yeah, like they're cool when they're like someone else's. Like you don't actually want one,
right?
But so when you take an image like this, which on this wall looks like it's, I don't know, 60 feet tall, maybe, at least in this picture, you would draw it on paper first, right?
Yeah, it
or
depends.
Something?
If there's a client involved, there's like a lot of pre-design approvals and discussions. If it's just for me and I can just go wild, I'll go pretty freeform and loose. Like there's a project in Sweden where they were asking me to come paint this huge wall, and I was like, yo, I gotta back out, I can't do it. And they're like, well, we already have your name on the poster at the airport, so you have to do it. Under what conditions can you make it work? I'm like, all right, fuck guys, if I just show up and paint, no design, just let me just show up and paint, I can make it work. They're like, okay, fine. So
I like how that, you know, it's like I can't make it work, and it's not like scheduling or money.
Well,
it's
the
like
scheduling of the pre-design.
Oh,
is
yeah,
cumbersome.
right, yeah.
So sometimes it is a little bit of that.
Yeah. I'll do literally anything to not have one more conference call with you. How can we make that happen?
That's worth its weight in gold, you know? Fuck, dude.
If one creative agency butts into one more email chain, I'm fucking out.
Right, dude. Just let me show up and paint. So I did that in Sweden and in Borås, B-O-R-A-S, Borås, Sweden. And it was crazy, man. I just showed up and I freestyled a 7-story wall. So whenever I came down to look at it, it was my first time seeing it. And that was really fun, man. I really enjoyed that. Oh, yeah, there it is.
Whoa. Oh, I remember this. Yeah,
Yeah.
that shit is sick. Wait, oops. I hit the wrong button.
Yeah,
that
go to the
is-
next image over. Because you
This
can
guy?
see, yeah, you can see the detail a little better there.
Hang on, let me make it big. I make it big for the peoples.
So yeah, that
That
was just
shit, it
freestyle.
looks like a color scene is being ripped out from underneath a gray building.
Right.
Actually works. It works particularly well with the actually real 3-dimensional blue siding above it. It works really nice.
Well, also to mention, this is all freehand spray paint, so there's no tape or stencils involved. So it's just
Really?
yeah, just freehand spray, man. Wow. You know,
Shit is so crazy.
I'm trying to be an aerosol purist and trying to you know, simplify the process as much as possible. So I
What is
walk
this
up to a
scene
wall and
actually
just paint.
showing?
What this?
Yeah, what is it a scene of? Like,
It's an abstract collage of many elements in my head. Different things are being referenced. Some make sense. Some are just for fun. Some are personal. You know. So this one in particular, because I was freestyling it, there wasn't like a big narrative necessarily. It was mostly just a big collage. But the elements that are in it, some of them are like my girlfriend's actually in it. There's some elements from my father. My father had recently passed not too long before that. So his catchphrase, out of sight, is in there in the very bottom. It says out of
Oh,
sight.
down in the little corner here. It's sort of cut off in the image. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's actually
Would this be your girlfriend at the top right?
No.
Just another random hot chick?
No. That is, God, I'm forgetting her name now. That's a famous actress. I can't believe I forgot her name.
Ooh,
from a famous sci-fi movie. But my girlfriend's the one in the very bottom right there with the hair flying over her face. Yeah. And, the weird thing about doing this mural was I had to order my paint colors like weeks before I even like thought about what I was going to paint. So I'm like, all right, I'll do it grayscale and then like a color range of like reds to oranges. And then I'll figure out what I'm going to actually paint when I get there. So I doodled on a napkin at breakfast, kind of a composition, and then just started painting that day. And I think I took like 4 or 5 days to paint it, and boom, boom.
That is, I mean, it's amazing when like...
But that's at one extreme.
At
the other end of the spectrum is a detailed back and forth with a client with a very detailed design. And then we'll either grid that or project it and do a little outline sketch, and then, depending on how much time we have, and then go at it. And I have a couple assistants I work with who I love.
Would like a good example of that be like the Dolphins thing or something like that? It's very commercial.
Yeah, Dolphins, we projected that in sections and just kind of sketched the outlines and then filled it and painted it, which is fine to do if you have not a lot of time.
Yeah, projecting. Oh, that's pretty cool though. I mean, it still looks awesome. Hang on.
Well, dude, a lot of it is detailed execution that has nothing to do with the projecting. It's all about, how you paint and how you execute it. And there's a few guys I work with, like Rage from Miami and Shane Jessup from here in LA. There's not a lot of people that I can trust to, have work with me on walls because, a lot of graffiti writers paint pretty clean, but I need motherfuckers to paint really clean. It has to look really clean up close. It has to look like it was silk screened. You know what I mean? And a lot of people kind of paint for Instagram. There's like a lot of, it's true. There's a lot of muralists.
No, it's funny.
It's true, bro.
No, I remember when you walked in here and the first thing I said to you is like, fucking the internet is terrible, like for everything.
Yeah.
And I think one of the funniest things about the internet, I think that especially Instagram, is that a giant mural, a house, a car, a watch are all the same size. You know what I mean? It just doesn't, the scale of anything doesn't fucking matter. It equalizes on a private island is the same size as an earring on Instagram. You know what I mean? It's weird. Life is weird like that.
A bite-sized, digestible form.
Yeah, that's why people who only experience life through the internet without actually going out and doing things it's sad because the world isn't in that scale. Things that are huge could be huge for a reason and could be experienced so much differently because they're huge or because they're small.
Well, I think you're talking very well towards my mural specifically because, where my work is mostly digested right now is Instagram and on the internet. And that's where a lot of my audience is. And Instagram has, really changed the art world in a lot of ways.
It's better in this angle, actually.
Oh, yeah.
It's better when you catch the mural from a 45 because there's layers.
If anyone goes to Hard Rock Stadium, the top, like the roof deck has this huge mural I painted featuring all the dolphins and all this cool stuff.
My favorite element in this mural is the lady's glasses. The cat, the sort of like, she looks like a gossip columnist from the 60s, like an advice columnist.
She's like a 60s beach babe.
Yeah, like a beehive beach babe, right? She reminds me of all my in-laws' parents, like the Long Island Jews trio. And I like the detail in the diamond on the Super Bowl ring.
There you go.
That is really where, I mean, this whole mural is excellent, but like the diamond in the ring, I think is really where you see the goodness.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of Miami, Jenny really taught me about Miami.
Miami's the shit.
I didn't know much about Miami until I met Jenny, and she revealed so much of the truth to me about how Miami really is. And, it cracked me up because she was like, yeah, see all these guys driving these nice cars? No, that's a lease. They sleep on their mom's couch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very funny.
The Miami exotic car rental market is hysterical.
Yeah.
And one of the funniest things in Miami is like the guys who work at the clubs on South Beach who see the same like 12 cars roll up every night with different drivers.
Oh,
and it's
hilarious.
like the drivers act like they're balling out, but everyone who's in in the service industry is like rolling their eyes, like this motherfucker, this car.
That's so
this
funny.
car was here last week with somebody else.
Yeah, I love and hate Miami, man. You know, I love Miami for, you know, its people, the weather, the culture, but sometimes there's this attitude there where like everyone's acting like they're in the nightclub, even in the grocery store.
It's very funny.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
like
come
here,
on,
everyone acts
dude.
like they're in the yoga studio when they're anywhere.
Yeah, man. It's like, come on, bro.
Every time I go to Miami Beach, though, I'm so about the Art Deco and like just the aesthetics of Miami Beach.
So unique.
I'm so into it. And then I get out of the car and my shirt instantly turns to a liquid.
Yeah.
And I go, oh, fuck this. I'm out.
Well, we have to be there every year for Art Basel.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, Art Basel is like the biggest event in the world every year for artists in the art world, and it takes over Miami
Can
the
I ask
first
a
week of
stupid
December
question?
every year. Yeah.
What actually happens? Because you hear
You
about
want to know?
Yeah.
What actually happens?
Because you hear about Art Basel as this like ethereal thing where like the real fucking cultured people are going and the Instagram hoes and the fucking guys with the yachts and everyone's got to do a thing there now. It's like the hot shit. But like, I don't know. Like, when you're an artist, when you're like, you're a pretty A-list fucking artist right now.
No, bro.
And when you're...
I'm like off Broadway. You know what I mean?
I don't know. You're pretty fucking dope.
I mean, I'm not A-list, bro.
You're something.
You know,
you're on
but-
some fucking kind of list. But what do you do when you show up in Basel? What is the thing that you do?
Okay, everything you just described is this satellite bullshit around the fact that over $1 billion is spent on art in Miami in one weekend. Okay? That's the truth.
So this is an art sale.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
So there's the Miami Convention Center, and in that convention center, all the biggest galleries from all over the world exhibit the best art they have from around the world. And
okay.
in order to exhibit in a booth in Art Basel, Miami, you have to have been in business in a brick and mortar gallery for over 10 years plus.
Oh, wow.
So you can't just open a gallery and get a booth inside the proper convention. It also comes from Basel, Switzerland, which is the name of the city where it originated. So Art Basel Miami is a satellite version of the Basel, Switzerland art convention.
There's an Art Basel in Switzerland.
There is in Basel, Switzerland.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So now there's
also Basel World, which is the watch convention.
Oh.
Yeah,
Which is
Basel
also in
World
Basel.
is the Geneva Auto Show of watches that's in Basel.
So there you go. Yeah. So Basel is this kind of convention city, but there's also Art Basel Hong Kong now, et cetera, et cetera. But the Miami one became a huge one because it's the United States. And all these other art fairs started sprouting up to get that like shrapnel business, the crumbs. Okay, so if $1 billion is being spent
sloppy castaways.
they want the sloppy seconds.
You only need to be in business for 2 years to open at my pseudo Basel convention.
You just need enough money to rent a booth.
Entry fee. Yeah.
So now there's like Art Miami, all these other art fairs, and in Switzerland they're not even allowed to be inside the city limits, those other art fairs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Switzerland knows what's up.
Yeah, but now Art Basel is this huge, giant clusterfuck where the partying and the VIP culture of it is a bigger deal than the actual art being sold.
Here, look, 14 best my Art Basel Miami satellite fairs. All I did was Google, by the way, I'll show my work. I Googled Art Basel Miami, and this was literally the first article that came up. Is like, here's the best things to do that aren't fucking Art Basel.
Yes, but also what's hilarious at Art Basel, that they have no idea how stupid they look. Rappers going through looking at art with sunglasses on. I don't want to be like,
great
dude,
look. I like
you're doing it wrong, bro. I don't go to a concert with headphones on.
That's so funny.
Take off the sunglasses, homie. Yeah, it's great. It's just ridiculous.
That's very funny. You gotta have what you have to do is you have a display set up so when a rapper comes up and looks at your shit with sunglasses on, you just hit the switch and blast the piece with light, and you go, "That's how it normally looks."
That's very funny. But you know,
wait, so is it individuals? It's individuals buying, or it's other galleries are buying, or
it's individuals. It's buyers for major hotel chains that need to buy 500 paintings to outkit all these hotels. So you have these buyers going in and be like, "I'll take this, that, and this." You know, you have people.
I actually kind of like that.
It's nuts. Dude.
Sounds kind of fun.
The world art buying industry is humongous and robust. It's wild.
Yeah, and fucking paintings can be $150 million now, right? What's the most expensive? Is it the Basquiat? Was that did that get surpassed?
That was the record. Yeah.
Was that the most expensive?
Yeah, that was pretty nuts, dude. You know what's crazy, man? Living in New York, I got to know all these amazing old school graffiti writers, bro, like Dr. Revolt and Quick and Scene and Hayes and Days and all these old school guys who were painting trains in the 70s, you know? And they all grew up with Basquiat and Keith Haring and all them. And it's amazing just being like one person removed from these like art stars of the 80s and hearing direct stories about what their lives were like. It's really cool, man.
What's weird is to think about, I always think it's very strange to think about people that either you're close to but they passed away, you know, and you know through one other person, or like someone who's super super legendary but like not that long ago, like thinking about I don't know, like Bob Marley having a driver's license. Right. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. Like just, you know, it's weird because like I just pulled up this list of Wikipedia most expensive paintings. Like Basquiat's like 115 million. Da Vinci's 450 million.
But isn't that the fake Da Vinci?
Oh, is it?
That's the rumor.
That's the fake Da Vinci, possibly fake Da Vinci.
That's the rumor.
Wow, 450 million for a fucking possibly fake Da Vinci.
Yeah.
But either way, there's like 500 years between the difference. Like Da Vinci might as well be Jesus or something. You know what I mean? Whereas Basquiat, like, lived in Manhattan.
Yeah, exactly.
Like he was around the corner, you know?
Yeah. I've met people that he had sex with. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Are you going to go for the Eskimo like brothers thing with Basquiat? That would really bring your art to the next level.
I don't think I'm trying to get with Madonna right now. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh yeah, that's true. Madonna.
I mean, I wouldn't say no, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Madonna's pretty next level. As far as like, I would never put Madonna as like categorize her as people who have had sex with Basquiat. Like I don't really think about that. But like,
I thought that was her claim to fame. You know,
maybe
she's a
1981. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, she's also a singer.
Yeah, it turns out.
But you know, there's really crazy things that put it into perspective for me. Like I had a friend who was working at one of the auction houses at like Sotheby's or Christie's or something, and there's like a Basquiat painting that came up for auction that on the back said like "Merry Christmas, Zephyr." And I know Zephyr, he's a graffiti writer, and this was like a gift that Basquiat gave to him for Christmas one day.
Yeah.
And years later, it's being auctioned for God knows how much money.
Yeah.
It's wild stuff, man.
Here's the question, though. If Basquiat gave you a gift, and you could display that gift in your home, enjoy it for a period of time, and eventually use that gift to set your family up for fucking life, would Basquiat be pissed?
I don't know, man.
Would you be pissed?
I mean,
if it was you?
No, I personally wouldn't, because
if you gave someone a canvas and then you passed away, and 10 or 15 years after you died, someone sold your canvas for $20 million.
I would have no problem with that. But
I think I'd be okay with it too.
I know about some similar circumstances that have happened where that hasn't really worked out. Where, like, one of the most famous street artists in the world. All right, starts with a B. I'm not going to say it.
Oh, you don't say it? Do we not say it?
I'll tell you why. Because this particular guy, on his come up, gifted art to some graffiti writers who helped him along the way. This guy then becomes one of the biggest, most expensive street artists in the world. And when those guys who he gifted artwork to went to sell paintings to like get their kids into art school or college or a private school, this guy's company wouldn't authenticate the work. And without the authentication, it might as well be a knockoff. Where it might have been like a $200,000 painting, you can now sell it on the underground market for like 10. So this particular artist, you know, really pissed off a lot of people that helped him on the way up because he wouldn't authenticate these gifts. So that's crazy, man. And I would never do someone dirty like that. I love giving my art away. I like to be generous. I like people having my work, you know.
Doesn't he sort of not... I think that's a dick move. On the
It's
record,
a horrible
on
dick
the record,
move.
I think it's a dick move. But isn't, for that one person, isn't his whole sort of shtick anti-consumerism, or does that not even matter because the paintings are so valuable financially anyway?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
All right,
Nothing
whatever.
matters. Nothing's real.
Oh no!
You know, it's all bullshit.
We don't need to go there.
It is. It's all bullshit. All right, because art is valued based on how many rich people are buying it.
Yeah.
So what is it really worth? Is it based on the value or the talent of the artist or the quality of the painting? No, it might be to you and me on a personal level, but in the art market, does that make it valuable? No. So what does it mean? It's a weird thing. Mm-hmm. And for the artist who's there in the studio trying to make a living, that can be very demoralizing. 'Cause it's like, okay, wait, the value of this painting is not based on what I'm putting into it right now. It's based on
like the white squares and whatever, the whole era of just like putting up basically blank canvases or color study 4. It's like a blue square. It's like, homie.
But what was happening was 20 rich dudes were like, yo,
I got an idea.
This artist is going to gift us like 20 paintings, and then we're going to put his shit up for auction and pay like 10 times the price for it. And now all those paintings he gifted us are now worth 10 times the price.
That's actually funny. I've heard stories of people, and one of which I was there to personally verify, but stories of people who have overbid for cars at auction by a lot, specifically because they've got 4 or 5 of those at home, and one hasn't been sold at a public auction for a while.
Oh, does this guy own an art gallery? Because that's how this shit works.
Literally, and it was with Skylines, with early Nissan Skylines.
That's how it works, bro.
They imported a bunch of them, got them up, and then went to Pebble Beach and spent like an eye-watering amount of money on one.
Yep.
But now all his other ones are being perceived as worth that much more.
Welcome to the game.
Damn.
Yep. Tell him to buy a painting, bro.
Do you do canvases too? You sell canvases? Is that what you're selling at Basel when you go, or are you?
Yeah, most of the time. I have a pretty robust studio practice right now. I have a studio over in the East Side in Highland Park, and I make a lot of paintings, man. A lot of paintings. I have mostly a kind of direct to collector market happening where a lot of people come to me directly and buy commission paintings or buy what I'm making.
Do you have to you don't have to do any marketing anymore, really, right? It's all just incoming?
Kind of.
You do more filtering than marketing?
The exhibitions are the marketing.
Right, okay? Right.
So when you do an exhibition, that kind of tells the world that you're alive and relevant and shows the prices. And if the work sells out, then it shows that there's a demand. Then the rest of the year, you're doing private sales, private commissions. Mm-hmm. So the exhibitions are the marketing. Most of the time, I'm lucky because my murals are also marketing for it, which is great. But the studio work is what I can be doing when I'm 80. I can't be painting murals when I'm 80, so I have to put time in there. And I love doing my painting work. And right now, I'm not really working through a lot of galleries, so that's kind of dope.
Yeah, like logistically. When you do a mural, like a big one on the side of a building.
You're showing my Universal Monster mural right now.
That's fucking so rad.
That's the craziest one I've ever done, I think.
This is at Universal Studios.
That's at Universal Studios.
This was visible at Luftgegalt, the Porsche event. And I saw it. That's right. And I went there, and when I walked through...
Motherfucker, so you saw the mural in person?
I have. I've seen a lot of your murals in person, and every time I see one, I instantly recognize it as yours, and I instantly fucking smile. I've seen at least 4 or 5 big ones in person.
Well, I didn't realize you saw this one in person.
Yeah, I was at Luft. This is a fucking killer place for this to be, for all those pictures of all those cars.
Well, what I was going to say a minute ago when you were talking about scale is that, I paint these murals so that they work in both formats, from afar, from up close, in digital and real life. But when you see these murals in person, the scale is a whole other element to it that is something to be reckoned with. And these murals in particular...
This building is probably 35 feet tall, right? Maybe 40?
It's about
30 and change?
3 to 4 stories tall by about 120 feet. And when you see that mural in person, the scale almost knocks you on your butt.
It's huge.
Yeah, dude. It's really big, and they're very powerful in person. And the scene at Universal Studios in the back
we have more pictures here.
Oh yeah,
this is the whole series of it, right?
Yeah, there we go.
Is this a full slideshow? Yeah, this is so rad.
I painted Dracula. I painted Bride of Frankenstein, Creature from Black Lagoon.
Wow. Oh, did you paint that?
No, that's reference.
Okay, I was like, oh yeah, that's reference material.
Yeah,
okay.
what they did
no,
was...
for a second I didn't know. I was like, if you did that, like you're entering a whole other level of realism. Yeah. No, you kind of aggroed the fuck Dracula out, didn't you? That's an angry
this is what
Dracula.
happened, man. I wasn't able to use Bela Lugosi, so I had to make up my own Dracula. I wasn't able to use Lon Chaney, so I had to make up my own Wolfman. But Bride of Frankenstein.
It looks like you were able to use Frankenstein.
Yes, of course.
That looks like Frankenstein.
Yep, that's the real one.
Yeah.
Boris Karloff. But what you're looking at right now are my references and inspirations for the designs. And they actually let me go to their secret archive in Glendale. They have a secret unmarked building with all of the Universal film memorabilia. And
Sick.
Bro, I got to go through all the files with white gloves and look at all the original movie poster illustrations. I got to like go through all the drawers, and I'm walking through these aisles, and there's all these
It's like
flat
the Indiana
files.
Jones at the end of Raiders of the Lost
All that
Ark.
shit.
Yeah.
Yes, dude. But I would see like a drawer marked Dune. I'm like, open that. And it's all the paintings from Dune the movie.
Oh, dude.
And then Back to the Future and Jurassic Park.
They had
and
the
Psycho.
DeLorean kind of rotting in there for a while too before
yeah.
they put it on display.
Yeah. So that was
The
a big
texture
honor.
in this Frankenstein is very looks like a cloud.
Thanks, man.
Almost.
I mean, like I said, these are all freehand spray. I'm in that photo in the bottom for scale. That's me in the very bottom middle.
Wait, what?
Under the N in Frankenstein in the middle.
Holy shit, dude! Yeah, dude. I expected you to be standing. No, he's literally sitting in a little ball under the N here. But like, yeah, no, this is a
scale.
huge painting. Yeah.
And it's a permanent fixture on the Universal lot, so it'll be there for like the next 50 years or something.
Does Universal approach you and ask you to do this, or they did?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Do you have an agent?
Yeah, man. I've had an agent in New York called Bernstein and Andreuli for like the last 18 years.
Oh, really?
I just left. After
free
18
agent?
years.
Sign this motherfucker.
Well, a couple of the agents from that company left to start a new one called Attribute. And so I just jumped ship after 18 years. But I have very good people that help me with my whole world, you know. I have a lawyer named Jamie Wolf, who I've had for 18 years as well. I have long relationships, man. You know, I put a lot of value on those long relationships, and you know, I try to keep my world of people solid.
Yeah.
And I have a great team. I'm very happy to work with the people I work with. And, you know, the work I do is very hard and exhausting, and, you know, quality of life is very important to me. So the people you spend your time with affect your quality of life. So I don't suffer fools or assholes, you know. Like, if someone is a positive, amazing, cool person and I love working with them, we're going to work together a lot.
Yeah.
But if you are a problem, then, you know, there's no room, you know.
I want to talk about cars, but for those of you joining us live right now, if you got questions for Tristan, get them in the super chat now, because we're going to close that down in a few minutes. I think we have a few already. Let me just. Oh yeah, we got a few already. But if you got questions for Tristan, we're also going to talk about cars. What about your car history?
About Gumball?
We can talk about Gumball.
Well, all right. Right now, I got a '67 Lincoln Continental.
Well, that's excellent.
Which is beautiful.
That is proper. I think there was a picture on your gram somewhere, right?
Yeah.
How far do I have to dig to find it, you think?
Probably pretty far.
Okay.
But,
tell me about it, though.
Wait, there it is.
There it is under a cover.
And if you go up, I think
there it is. Okay, cool. Yeah.
So,
you know what I love the wheels on this. The wheels are so appropriate.
Those are called Manhattans.
Because those were basically a wheel that came in like 15s or 14s back in the day, and they're just blown up to like 22s or something.
But dude, I'm putting white walls back on it, man. I got to ride in them balloons.
Oh,
bro,
the ride. You need ride quality back?
Because you know what it feels like driving that car with those rims on?
The system.
Oh yeah, my name's on it too.
Yeah.
It feels like you're riding in the Brooklyn Cyclone roller coaster, bro.
Yeah.
All right, you can feel every pebble.
It's wooden coaster.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's very crashy.
Yeah, and I live in East LA, bro, so, you know, we got potholes.
I completely understand. That's why I drive an off-road vehicle in the city.
Oh, you do? Smart.
I drive an off-road 911 in the city.
Nice.
Yeah, because I wanted a sports car. I wanted something air-cooled. I felt really cool, the 911, but I also wanted to be practical, and our pothole situation here is not to be fucked with. And the Safari 911, there it is. is extremely appropriate. Yeah, my garage was ill that day. So I have a 4-inch lift and big fucking BFG ATs and skid plates and shit. It rules.
Fresh.
I strongly recommend off-road sports cars for the city. Maybe you should fucking lift up the Lincoln. Let's fucking do it. Well, it looks good. I mean, I have to say that
I got bags on it, which is nice.
The aesthetic. Oh, dude, I didn't just notice your spray can rack.
Okay, let me tell you what
happened. Your shit is like from Pimp My Ride. It's like, yo, dog, I heard you like painting, so I put an Ace Hardware in your truck.
Better than Pimp My Ride. Better. I'll tell you why. My boy Ralph Hogoyan, who owns RMD Garage, all right, he hooked up that car for me. And what happened was I was art directing a music video for Dilated Peoples, and I needed a car. So I called my boy Ralph, and I'm like, hey, dude, I need to borrow a car for this music video. He's like, oh, I got this Lincoln. He gives me the Lincoln, use it for the video. It was amazing. And yeah, what Ralph builds is insane. RMD stands for Ralph's Mobile Detailing, and he started out in Long Beach detailing cars.
Oh, this is a beautiful Continental.
And now
here,
this is what he does, bro.
Yeah,
he's no joke.
Ebony. Oh, this '58 Impala looks great.
A lot of the Pimp My Ride cars and West Coast Customs shit would end up going to. That's my car, the JFK.
Yeah, this is your car here. It's called JFK.
Yeah, so a lot of those...
It looks fucking great. I really like the aesthetic of those wheels. In fact, if I had a brand new Continental, I'd put rims on it that pretty much just look like that.
Hell yeah. So he sold me the car, and it caught on fire like 3 months later.
No warranty, sorry.
Bro, I was driving... I live on a hill, so I'm like flooring it up my hill, and it starts smoking. And you know those hoods open backwards.
Yes.
So I opened the hood to let it air out. And then boom, something popped, oil squirted on my windscreen, and then flames start licking out.
Oh, that's bad.
I had 2 people in the car. I put it in park. I'm like, shit, get the fuck out. Call 911. I go to run to my house, and it's a hill. So I'm like running in slow motion to get my fire extinguisher, dude.
Da, 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 da.
It sucked. We ended up getting fire extinguishers and putting it out. And I called my boy Ralph. I'm like, yo, motherfucker, you better make some lemonade out this lemon, bro. And he's like, look, don't worry. You're in luck because we just signed a deal to do a TV show about my car garage. We're going to do a whole episode on your car.
There you go.
So that's what happened. That's why I have spray paint racks in my trunk and all this stuff that's more like a show car.
Was it a pilot? Did the show ever go anywhere?
Oh, yeah, dude.
Oh, it did?
RMD Garage. It's on Velocity.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
And it's syndicated into like all these different languages.
Really? Oh, sorry, I don't like...
You can see me bitching about my car in like Polish, Spanish, French. It's pretty funny, dude.
Velocity is now Discovery?
I don't know, bro, but he gets recognized.
Oh, is this your homie?
There's Ralph.
Oh
there.
My God, he looks exactly like the kind of dude who would have a show like this.
No, he's the best, bro. Honestly, Ralph,
don't worry about it, bro. I got you. Does he talk kind of like that?
Ralph is a G, bro. He's like the greatest dad in the world, and you know, no one deserves his success more than him.
He looks great. And I like his aesthetic. His aesthetic is real cool.
Yo, he's built
he has a nice
gangster
taste.
Shit, dude.
He looks like he's got that East LA aesthetic down.
Yeah.
But yeah, get yourself some sidewall and you're good to go. That's all you need is a little sidewall.
But you know,
what's your everyday car?
Oh, dude, I got a fucking Ford Explorer, man, just for like carting art around and driving stuff, you know what I mean? But I also have this Dodge Ram work truck that I use for like bombing billboards and like shitting around LA. It's the most amazing thing in the world. And it's covered in dirt and has a vinyl logo on the side of the Bob's Big Boy logo, but his face is melted out like a zombie and he's got a rat on a platter. And it's like light gray on white. And
that's probably like what Von Dutch's truck looked like when Von Dutch had it. Now Von Dutch's truck is at the Peterson. You know, it's like a piece of fucking art, and it's like there's a bubble around it or something. But like back when Von Dutch was driving it around, it was basically that.
Well, dude, people get so confused. They're like, "Oh, big boy," and they look closer, like, "Wait, what?" And people pull up to you in red lights, like, "Yo, what is that, man?" And I literally just tell them, like, "Oh, I just did it to fuck with people." Yeah, they're like, "It worked." Anyway, another project that I just worked on is for an art car. Speaking of art cars, there's a collector in New York who's bankrolling a major art car exhibition.
Really?
And I painted a 65 F-150 for it.
Cool.
And it is so dope, dude.
Is
Bright
there,
yellow.
Is it? Can we show it, or is it not allowed
It's
yet?
not out yet, but I am having like a open studio private party in a couple weeks where I'm debuting it. So I'd love you to come to that.
In LA?
In LA at my studio.
Yes.
But the car, we actually put a real bed in the bed of the truck.
Like a sleeping bed?
Yeah, like a mattress with my art on the sheets and the pillows and a big bowl of condoms that match the paint job. And a huge sculpture on the top.
Is it a
nuts.
Performance piece? Are you supposed to bone in it?
I can.
Are you just?
I can perform in the piece. No one else
can. We get what's his name? The fucking kid from Transformers. Who's? Oh, god damn it!
Transformers. You mean the annoying guy who's in Indiana Jones?
Shia
5?
LaBeouf.
Oh,
Shia
Jesus,
LaBeouf, who
bro.
does all the performance, where he puts a bag over his head and he's like, "I'm not famous."
He's not invited, bro. He is not invited. But I'm excited about it because I think we're gonna do like a photo shoot in a drive-in movie theater with some girls in like yellow bikinis to match it and do something outrageous. But this exhibition is gonna have cars by all these crazy artists like Revoke, Lady Aiko, Felipe Pantone.
Cool.
Aiko did a custom. Oh man, I maybe I'm spoiling it, but whatever. She, I heard through the grapevine that she did a limousine as a strip club.
That's amazing.
With like stripper poles in there.
Amazing.
So dope.
One of the best redneck conversions I've ever seen is at the 12 Hours of Sebring race, which is a fucking crazy party. Infield, inside the circuit, it's big hospitality tents, sponsors, Audi, customer racing, Porsche Corral, all that shit. The outfield, it's fucking yeehaw. Everyone gets 230 racks, motherfucker. And driving around the outfield, I saw a Buick Skylark from the 80s, which is a front-wheel drive car that had the entire body chopped off behind the driver's door with a pickup truck bed installed on the back and a stripper pole.
No.
Yeah. And they would just drive around the paddock with girls on the pole. It was a mobile strip club. And they would just they just park, turn up the music.
God bless them.
Everyone gets a 30 rack. Here we go.
You know what we used to do when I was a kid, man? I grew up in like Los Feliz, Hollywood, you know? And we would go to the Saugus Speedway. Right? Is that still there? Do you know?
I think so.
Saugus Speedway would have these demolition derbies, okay? And what I would love to do is organize a demolition derby and have all these different artists paint the cars and do what they used to do at Saugus, because they would have demolition soccer.
I think it's just a swap meet now. I don't think they actually have any racing
Oh,
there.
that's sad.
Yeah, we got to go to history to see racing.
Oh, see, there we go. Yeah, bro, look at the old race cars.
This is little old midgets back in the day.
Yeah, so what they would do, Matt, they would have a 10-foot steel ball. And you'd have to ram it with your car to get it in the goals.
Yeah, car soccer. I remember this. Yeah.
Dude.
They do it now, but with inflatable balls. They still do it.
What's the point of that? You got to smash your car against a steel ball, man.
It is better with a steel ball.
Yeah. So anyway, that's one thing I'd love to do when talking painting cars.
But with the inflatable ball, the cars still crash into each other a lot. It's just not the ball itself that damages the car. There's still a lot of crashing.
Okay, as long as there's damage. But I'd love to have a bunch of artists paint a bunch of cars for a demolition derby, man.
That would be the shit.
Come on, man. You got friends?
Well, I think decorating a demo
Let's
derby
go.
car is that's like a pastime. That's like a thing that
I've done
they
it
take part
before
on.
once, but I want like all my friends to paint like 10 cars and then just destroy them.
Great. That's totally doable.
Let's do that.
know?
It's, isn't there a Scumball 3000? Something like that.
I mean, kind of. Yeah. There's a thing called the Gambler, which you know about that.
No.
In that, you pretty much take it's an off-road rally, and so you pretty much take like a shit box and like lift it on big tires. And the rally is off road, and like there's a lot of fucking people that do it.
I love it.
People do some.
Oh wow! Is that an AMC Concorde?
This is a Chevelle or a Nova.
Oh, okay,
but I mean, people do all kinds of crazy things from
I love
the
it.
very budget to the sort of professionally built. But yeah, it's about mudding.
That's cool.
So like
man.
people will build like a $500 car to do this shit, and then like other people will take like a Safari 911, sort of like mine. So yeah, we could do that. I made a movie called All Cars Go to Heaven, where we just drove across entire states off road in completely stock shit boxes. And we did it. We totally did it. Like I did it in Washington. We did it in an '87 Tercel, and then in Utah, I drove across Utah in the summer in a off-road in a completely stock 1991 Toyota Previa, which I also slept in. It's a mid-engine rear-wheel drive minivan.
Wow,
it was bitching.
Dude.
Yeah, dude, you can take a car almost anywhere if you don't care how it looks at the other side.
Yeah, dude, one of my favorite cars I ever had was a high school car. It was a 1976 Ford Elite.
Wow,
you ever seen those?
I haven't even heard of that in a while. I'm going to get a picture of that.
Yeah, go, bro.
1977?
1976 Ford Elite. And
yikes.
This thing is like 20 feet of hood.
Bro,
all right,
wait.
look at that shit.
It's so like it's so much hood. Wait,
so
look, it's so much hood that it won't. The hood won't
photo.
fit in the fucking photo. The proportions of it are just extraordinary. I mean,
but it's a couch on wheels.
Oh yeah.
And I was living in Detroit at the time, and when I was in downtown Detroit, mobbing through them streets, I would get just tips of the hat every block. You know,
everything about this car is Detroit in the 1970s.
That's right, baby.
And this guy's suit.
Yes, dude.
Think about both of those things.
But that one's got a sunroof, which is dope. But is that a sunroof?
It seems to have a sunroof.
I love that car.
I think someone might have photoshopped that on there. I don't know if this thing had a sunroof.
I know it looks a little weird, but I would have loved some T-tops in that bitch. That
oh yeah.
But
the T-top
that's one of my favorite
away.
cars, man. I would love to get one, make it all black, white, and silver, and hook it up to match my Lincoln. It's a weird car, dude.
I think we can find that fucking right now.
For like a couple G's.
Let's look at Autotempest.com because they're a sponsor.
All right, let's go.
And I bet you that right now we can find you. I think it might be too old for Autotempest.
No.
Ford. You think
Elite.
Ford has an Elite on this bitch? It does. They do.
Yes,
I knew Autotempest. I knew they'd come through with me. Let's see. Let's see if they actually come through with cars.
I want a white one with black interior.
I normally wouldn't do this. We call this the Noah's Arcade, where you involve the sponsor in the editorial. And actually, no,
they don't have
all
shit.
you get is a Bronco SEMA built for 150 grand.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, no, that hasn't worked out. They may be a little harder to find than we thought.
I love me some Broncos, though, man.
You're a Bronco guy?
I love Broncos.
It's the most LA vehicle ever.
Well, I had it in New York, dude, and in the wintertime when there'd be like 3 feet of snow, you just mob over the sidewalks. Like I remember crushing Village Voice boxes and stuff with that thing. But also, check this out. That car, the brakes went out. And I drove it with no brakes and just downshifted and went into reverse or like hit the parking brake whenever I needed to, bro. I actually drove it with no brakes in Brooklyn.
Like, not like more than once?
Like for a week. I'm not joking, man.
But I think that says a lot about you more so than the car. I don't think that means it's a good car. I think all you told me about the car was that it broke.
I think I was saying more about me. It's not about the car.
You told me that you made it work. That's not a virtue of the car. The car sucks.
I know, but I was broke back then and I had to have money to fix it.
Well, now you got money. Now what you do is you buy an Icon Bronco. You get Icon, right?
Tell me.
John Ward. Oh, Icon Broncos. So, Icon is run by a company named Jonathan Ward. Jonathan Ward has the most attention to detail of any human being alive.
Oh, that's dope.
And he builds and restores these Broncos that are, as well as Toyota FJs. He does FJs and Broncos and some other stuff. So it's a full chassis build. Art Morrison does their chassis. Art Morrison's the best. With a Ford Coyote motor. That's a brand new Mustang engine.
Damn.
Ford brand new manual gearbox. I don't know if it's the same as a Mustang gearbox or they use a Tremec, but whatever. It's brand fucking new.
Wow.
You can have him make one that looks like a stock one or one that looks sort of mildly beefed up, but he won't make it any more aggressive looking than that.
Wow.
And every component in this vehicle is the most durable, best made, not necessarily the most expensive for expensive's sake, but every component of the vehicle is the highest quality component that John can possibly find.
What are these running, bro?
I think they're like in the high twos. They're not fucking cheap. They are really expensive.
Yeah.
But they're made to use. They're not made to stare at. I've driven them. Like I'm seriously, I've driven them. They don't drive like anything else.
Really?
Yeah, they drive
crazy.
Normally an old car, any old car, even the nicest old car, is going to be really like exhausting compared to a new car.
Yeah.
These aren't.
Huh.
They're much, because they use completely newer powertrains, and because they replace all the plastic with metal, and because they really give a shit about all the tolerances and that everything is really tight and strong, you don't get that rattly, crashy shitboxness. Like unshitboxing a car and making a car fast is like super fucking easy. Turning a car into a race car is like not hard. You just add certain things and turn things certain ways. But like unshitboxing something is so hard and so expensive.
Yeah.
There's very few companies that actually are able to unshitbox something that is as much of a shitbox as a 60s Bronco, 70s Bronco. I'll defend the looks, but they were made badly.
The aesthetic is so dope.
Yeah.
I love the design of the boxiness. It's so great.
Yeah. And now all of our cars, for aerodynamics and efficiency reasons and whatever, and the involvement in computers, all of our cars are becoming rounder.
They all look the same, dude.
Yeah. Well, that's because when you allow a computer to give you the most efficient way forward, all computers will give you the same most efficient way forward.
That's like designed by committee on steroids.
Yeah, and sometimes, but it's they got to get every mile per gallon. They got those kinds of things are very important now. Unfortunately, in a lot of ways, they're more important than style. And then for the people who can afford style, they express it in ways like this, like buying a very niche custom vehicle. And for people who can't afford it so much, they express it by modifying their cheap car in interesting ways.
Right.
You know
who you should have on here sometime that would be cool to talk about this kind of stuff with is my friend Camilo.
Camilo Pardo?
Yeah, have you had him on here
Camilo
before?
I haven't had him on here. I don't think I could sit Camilo in a chair for an hour. Camilo's crazy.
I've known Camilo like 20 years. Bro.
He's a
close
sweet guy, but he's a tough dude to nail down. For those who don't know Camilo, he designed the 2004 Ford GT.
Exactly.
I've been to his place in Detroit.
But not only that, he is a wild painter.
Oh, his paintings are incredible.
And he paints cars.
Yes. Formula One cars, race cars.
I mean, like very expressive and loose paintings. So they have like a photorealistic quality from afar, but you get closer and they're like wild brushstrokes.
Yeah.
But he actually designs cars and is a very eccentric character and won that crazy reality show that was about car design a while back.
I can't believe that he sat still long enough to do a reality show.
Yeah, he's a trip, man.
Yeah, no, wait, hang on. I'm trying to get. Oh, wow, that's very zoomed in. I'm trying to get a good Camilo picture for us.
Any regular night in Detroit, you can go by his building, the Bankel building, and there'll be like 10, drunk models hanging out there, and Camilo painting with all his like old cars. And
you know who Camilo is? Camilo is he's the male Maud Lebowski. but not pretentious. It's like, who's that? Like, I don't even know.
Yeah, he's the kind of guy, like, if you don't know him, you're going to be like, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
But once you know him, you're like, you love him so much.
But his painting is really interesting.
His paintings are wild.
And, I once went to his place. Oh my God, come on, load. Come on, the computer's being a cock bag. There we go. I once went to his place like 2 o'clock in the morning, very drunk.
That's how you go
there. And he was I think this was like 2010. And he's like, man, I really want to paint right now. And I was like, I'm gonna get to watch him paint. Cool. And he goes, what's that shirt? He goes, you get that shirt from Ford? And I was wearing a Ford Performance. He goes, I'm gonna paint on that. And I was like, okay. So he turns me around, and in about, I don't know, 3 minutes maybe, I take the shirt off, and he has painted a perfect Ford GT on my back.
Oh, you lucked out.
And I still have the shirt.
That's dope.
Yeah, I would fucking frame that shit.
That's dope.
So sick.
Last time I was there's a bunch of us there, super drunk, And he was like, Tristan, we're going to draw. Let's go. We're going to draw. I'm like, we're going to draw right now? Really? All right. And he broke out this huge pad of paper and wanted me to like do collaborative gestural drawings with him. I got down and he was bugging out. He's like, no one can ever keep up and draw with me, bro. I'm like, I got you, man. Let's doodle, man. Let's doodle this.
That's like the Prince of fine art.
And we had the greatest time. But I have a cool, crazy Camilo story, bro. When I was living in Detroit, it was like 1997, and the Detroit Red Wings won the Stanley Cup. And I had a friend visiting from out of town. So I'm like, yo, we got to go to this bar on Woodward and watch the celebrations. So we're standing outside the bar and everyone's celebrating. So there's maybe like 200 people outside the bar. And all the people from the stadium are Joe Louis or Cobo Hall Arena are driving up Woodward Avenue, which is the main street of Detroit, where they have like the Dream Cruise and all that. And as we're outside, all these cars are driving up from the stadium. They're waving brooms and celebrating, the Stanley Cup victory. And now it's getting rowdy. And about 15 minutes before riot police showed up to like calm down the group we were in, people were slowing down to like wave at our crowd, and my friends are running out and tagging the cars as they're driving by. Right?
Like with drivers in them, like
Yes.
they're in motion?
They're going like 5 miles an hour waving, and my friend Double would run out and like tag the back of the car. And in the height of all this, Camilo pulls up in like a 1960s Fiat, like one of those tiny ones.
Yeah, like a Fiat 500, like a Cinquecento.
Yeah, that'll like fit in your pocket.
Yeah.
With this like super hot model, and tries to park in front of the bar where we're whiling out. Bad move, man. Everyone mobbed the car and started trying to tip it.
Oh, I thought you were telling me they started painting it.
No, dude, they start rocking it, trying to tip
With
it
him in
over
it?
with him in it.
Oh, no.
With this model, and I got to see the look of terror in this girl's face, and Camilo going, "Oh shit!" like popping gears, trying to like squeal out while he's rocking from like one side of the wheels
Oh,
to the
my God.
other, and he like squealed out to the Yui and zipped out of there, and then.
Like in a fucking Fiat 500.
It was the greatest thing in the world, and then the riot police showed up, and the party was over.
Oh no!
Great Camilo
terrible.
story.
Almost any person I know who goes to Detroit, their trip ends at a Camilo story. It's fucking legend.
True that.
Let's go. We got a couple of questions before we shut her down.
Okay,
And,
cool.
let's see. Cross and Shoot wants to congratulate us because we crossed 900,000 subscribers the other day.
Oh
so,
wow! Congratulations.
Yay. That's a thing.
That's cool, man.
They don't give you another fucking button until you get to 1 million, though. That's bullshit.
Oh,
they give you 100,000 and then 1
bummer.
million. So we gotta wait.
Shit.
Subscribe, like, and subscribe. Lucas Bell says, glad to hear some love for CCS in Detroit. I'm a
Yeah.
Wayne State guy myself.
Cool.
Keep making your art. My mom went to Wayne State back in the
really?
day. My mom's from Detroit.
No
She
shit.
grew up in Livonia.
Yeah, I know Livonia. That's where I got my first drunk driving.
There you go.
I mean, it was actually my only drunk driving.
My first.
Yeah, I took my dad's old Cadillac.
Nobody gets arrested in Detroit for anything except you.
I had a few there, but I borrowed my dad's Cadillac. We went to the drive-in movie theater there. The Ford, Wyoming drive-in is one of the biggest drive-in movie theaters left in the United States. They have about 9 screens maybe, and you can tune in the audio to your radio station, which is amazing. And my friend and I took a couple girls there with like a case of beer. I was 17, man. And we got really drunk. And I got arrested in Livonia. And
There it is.
but yeah, I didn't know your mom was from
big one.
there, man. That's really cool. My mom teaches at University of Michigan. She's
really?
she's still out there.
Oh,
yeah.
nice. I fucking love Detroit. I have
Yeah.
the best time every single time I go.
It's a
I
special
love the
place.
people, and I love that. I mean, I hate that their like economy collapsed, but
It's coming back right now.
Well, hard, yeah, hard. Shit's like dope now. I love that like it got to a point where the really creative people that could figure out how to scrounge up just a little bit of money had a couple years there where if they got in, they could build something really
Absolutely.
cool.
Yeah, it's a great time in Detroit.
Great
right now.
restaurants and
Yep.
hipster shit. It's hipster shit's turn there.
It's kind of hipster paradise there because everything is like so authentic. You know,
There's so much like industrial. The
grime is real.
Yeah, what decay porn, like ruin porn. Like there's
Ruin
so much
porn.
ruin porn that to bring ruin porn into
it's
a
like,
restaurant is the
look
most
at my
authentic.
pop-up restaurant in this abandoned factory. You're like, just get the fuck out of here. I hope they get robbed.
Is that a rusty nail for a chopstick? We're trying to say that consuming this sushi roll, the rusty nail is
This sashimi comes out on a brick. You know? It's like that. It'd be like that.
They put a little like round speaker on your table and it just goes woo 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 woo.
Oh my God.
Fucking bad.
It's crazy. Man.
Now we have an actual car question. Zach wants to know, I have a Mustang GT 2017 as an only car. It's not as versatile as I would hoped. Thoughts on a 2008 4Runner for commuting and a 350Z for fun and track? I want to stay at $25K for the two. I'm open to similar suggestions. All right. An 08 4Runner is a really nice car. Our own Timmy has a 06 4Runner, and it's basically unkillable, and it rules. However, depending on your commute, the fuel economy stinks. It's not good fuel economy, my friend. Also, a 350Z for fun and track. 350Zs aren't that great at the track, and they aren't that fun. I don't think a 350Z is a step up in fun from your Mustang GT that you have now. I would, I don't know, 17. I mean, if you really want a truck, like a 4Runner's a pretty nice truck, and you know they hold their value well and they work properly, and that's good. I think like a BRZ or an 86 is more fun than a 350Z, and you can get that power and speed back. I also think that you're getting awfully close to used Corvettes and stuff at that point, and I would maybe consider that. I don't know. $25K for two cars isn't much. I'd much rather have one car that I could commute in and also have some fun in, like a brand new Volkswagen GTI or WRX, for instance. I'd rather have that than a 12-year-old 350Z and a 10-year-old Toyota truck.
Although the security guard at my local CVS is selling a fucking
plug it
old cop car for like $3,000 with the working sirens and everything, 100,000 miles. That's kind of dope.
There's
bro.
an argument to be made for a Crown Vic.
You could
as
buy
a commuter.
10 cars for $25,000 if you really wanted to.
No, yeah, I mean, yeah, true. That's true. I don't want to be a snob. You can buy cars for not much money. Yeah, I mean,
and just run through them one by one.
Yeah, if in replacements to the 350Z only, I'll say like E36 BMWs and E46 BMWs are more fun than Zs. Older Mustangs, like a 2011 or 12 Mustang with the appropriate suspension is better than a Z. Corvettes are better than Zs. That's where I would, even like E30s, even a Civic, like, dude, like a
What's
Civic.
your ideal year Mustang, though?
My ideal year? It depends what you can afford. I mean, in general.
What's your favorite?
My favorite? I mean, Fox bodies are my shit. Like, I had a sick Fox body that I had built.
Oh, my brother wanted me to ask you about
the black one.
The
yeah.
notch?
Yeah. I dropped my thing. I didn't want to run it over with my chair.
My brother wanted to know if you still had the Fox notch.
I sold it. I sold it at the end of last year.
Shout out to my brother Matt Eaton, by the way.
Matt Eaton. It was a really cool car. I got it on the cover of a couple magazines. It was very photogenic, and it was very fun to drive when I was romping on it. On the other hand, it had no radio. It had no heat or air conditioning. It had no insulation at all. And earlier we were talking about unshitboxing something.
Yeah.
My desire to drive a car that doesn't rattle outweighed my desire to drive a Fox body after a while.
Got it.
I sold it for a lot of money. I put it up for auction, no reserve on Bring a Trailer, and I sold it for, and I gave half the money to charity. I paid the rent on an animal shelter for a year.
Amazing.
Shout out to Peter Zippy Fund, Redondo Beach. Get yourself a kitten. I'm
That's
going
cool.
to. Yeah, I like cats. And so I got rid of it, and I bought this Lamborghini Countach, which is a mild step up.
Oh my God. Not bad. Dude, my brother Matt, his approach to like souping up cars is all to do with doomsday prepping. Okay.
He'd like my 911.
His cars are all ready for the zombie apocalypse. Man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's like, no, don't worry. There's a drawer under your seat with like dried foods that you can cook.
Oh, really?
He has astronaut foods and axes. And
oh my God, that's awesome.
it's wild, bro.
He's ready.
He's fucking ready at any given time.
Yeah.
Man.
See, I'm not even gonna, when that shit happens, I'm not even gonna fuck with a car. I have a scooter. I have a Yamaha Zuma 125 scooter. I get 75 miles a gallon of gas. You know what I mean? I got 2 little cargo boxes, and I can my way all the way to the other side of fucking LA.
That's a pretty cool story, but us muralists got it figured out, man. What I decided is that when the zombie apocalypse comes, what I'm going to do is get me a fucking 60-foot boom lift cherry picker.
Oh, yeah.
Because those wheels will just run over them zombies, and I'll be like 40 feet up with a machine gun mounted in the cab.
You have cherry picker experience.
Until the zombies accidentally hit the red button on the bottom, and then I'm fucked.
Do you enjoy hanging off of buildings?
I love it, man.
Yeah.
And I actually really enjoy operating that equipment. And
the window washing things?
well, those are called swing stages that hang off the sides of the buildings, you know? Those are really fucking scary, and you normally have like a body harness going to a lifeline. But the cherry pickers are really fun to drive. And we end up driving those a lot. And, you know...
Do you own a cherry picker?
No, I don't. I'd love to own one.
Is it your dream to own one day?
No, it's my dream to own one of the old, like, cable company work vans that has the boom lift built in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because there's a bunch of billboards.
Wait, the ones
I
that
wanna
just go straight up?
No, they have like an elbow arm.
Oh, okay, cool,
You know?
yeah.
But
these things, the ones where you're hanging...
those are swing stages. Those
Yeah.
are really scary and dangerous. Accidents happen, and you have to, like, really know your knots, bro. And actually, to paint the most recent mural I did in New York, it's on 27th Street and 5th Avenue by the Empire State Building. In order to use that lift without some asshole construction worker in there with me, I had to get I had to go through a course and become a suspended scaffold supervisor. And I do a week-long course to do that, but now I know how to tie my bowline hitches, my fucking cat's paw hitches, everything, bro.
Dude, I'm a sailor, so I'm right with you.
Oh, you sail?
Yeah, dude, those knowing fucking knots comes in handy all the time, doesn't it?
These knots, as my brother would say.
How often do you need to break out, nothing to do with painting, but how often, like, does you being able to know how to tie a bowline really help it?
A lot. Yeah. And what was really funny is that my assistant Shane and I went through training together, and I really took to the knot learning. Like I caught on really well with them, and I was able to learn and memorize knots quite easily. And that's a weird thing. I think, I was always good at geometry, but bad at algebra, for example.
Yeah.
I think like the visual problem solving is definitely part of why I'm an artist. You know?
Yeah.
But
that's so cool.
It's a scary part of the job.
I'd be fucking terrified.
We got it. Side of buildings.
We have a like a scissor jack. Oh, a scissor lift over in my building.
Yeah.
And we go, I got up there to like get some video. That shit was wobbly as hell, bro. I'm not fucking with that anymore.
Well, bro, look, New York City has the highest standards of anywhere in the world, when it comes to the safety.
Yeah.
But I painted in Moscow, Seoul, Mexico.
Earlier, that fucking Russian one you told me about, that shit looked, the paint was like yellowing and chipping and shit.
Bro,
it was shady.
I also painted this clock tower in Russia where we were up on a boom lift, but it was raining, and I had to get out of the boom lift and attach myself to a lifeline and walk around the clock tower.
Yikes! Like Doc Brown
in
Fuck
the rain.
Out of here.
It was very Back to the Future. It was crazy. Are you trying to look it up?
Yeah, Moscow clock tower. This
Google my name and Moscow, you'll probably see it. But I actually designed the hands and the face for the clock tower itself.
Is that this?
Too. No, it's the one next to it.
This one?
There, that one.
Oh shit! Oh, it's like around the tower.
Yeah.
Yo, that's fucking so rad. Wait, let me
So-
zoom out for that so I can get a full.
Yeah, so the clock face, the numbers and hands aren't on it yet, but I designed those too.
Oh, did that go up here?
Yeah,
Oh,
so
okay.
right above the face, that platform, we had to like walk around and paint from there. It was freaky, dude. And the Moscow the Moscow safety guys are like,
worry about it. It's
no,
okay.
it is good. Tristan, just go. Like, all right, motherfucker.
You want some vodka?
We had a lot of vodka on that trip.
Did you enjoy Russia?
I loved Russia. And to be honest, I was a little spoiled because the guys from Atrium, which is the name of that mall, are such ballers out there. My friend Eric, who I did gumball with, his family built like half of Moscow. So like there's a shopping mall under the Kremlin. They built that. So when you hang out with this guy in Moscow, he has like 6 armed guards.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, oh, there's a perimeter around us. And you're like, that's so cool. And then you're like, wait, are we a target?
Yeah, you're like, what do we need this for?
But then, you know, you go to the nightclub with them and they part the seas and, you know, you ride around in, you know, crazy cars with them, you know. It's a rare lifestyle to witness and be a part of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting. So I got to see a part of Moscow that a lot of people don't really get to see from that kind of oligarch perspective.
Yeah. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I'm sure it was fun.
Listen, I love Eric. The guy is a baller, and he's like, you know, in his young 30s, and he's like, look, my opinion is like, if you have the money, spend it, you know?
I'm not going to judge.
And when we did Gumball, it was when Gumball went from Stockholm, Sweden to Las Vegas. And
2 flights? Is that one flight or 2 flights?
One flight.
Yeah.
And we drove from Stockholm, Sweden to Amsterdam, put all the cars on a plane, got in a private jumbo jet, and flew to Reno, Nevada. And on that flight, it was my birthday, and Pritchard from Dirty Sanchez got naked and peed on Dolph Lundgren.
Well,
on the flight.
I mean, that's worth $100,000.
I didn't pay to be in Gumball, thankfully.
That's a $100,000 story, my friend.
I think I was the only person that got paid to go to Gumball because I was on the guest team.
I got paid to do Bull Run 3 years in a row.
Dope. See, that's why we're who we are.
Great.
But so I painted 3 Dodge Vipers for the rally. That was really fun. If you Google Guess Gumball, you'll probably see them. And then I had one of the guest models as my co-pilot, and she couldn't do GPS for shit.
There is a scene in the show Top Gear where James May.
Go.
Look at that.
Yeah, but click the one with the model.
I'm not putting the one with that link on it.
There we go. That was my co-pilot.
Oh, there's a. She's not so bad, is she? There's an episode of Top Gear with James May where they have to do like a time, speed, distance rally, and they put a model in there with her, and she's just a smoke show, and she just cannot look at a map. Like she's literally like I don't think she's ever seen a map. Come to think of it, it looks a lot like this chick.
Honestly, bro, we got pulled over in the first 2 hours. I got a speeding ticket.
Of course you did.
Immediately.
Of course you did.
But what was so dope,
dude, on Bull Run, we left Manhattan. We left the fucking Intrepid in Manhattan.
Yeah.
Down the West Side Highway.
Yeah.
Out the Holland Tunnel, over that bridge.
Yep.
Right. I got pulled over at Newark.
Wow, dude.
And given 3 tickets.
Wow.
Yeah,
I had to pay my ticket on the spot, but the cool part is the cop let me take a photo of him wearing a ski mask in front of my car with the model. So that was cool.
I think if guest uses the photo, it's a tax deduction at that point.
It was crazy, bro. But, you know, on Gumball is where I got to be good friends with Bun B, and that was a really cool thing. And that was one of the greatest things to come out of Gumball for me was meeting him and Charles Adams, his lawyer. And, you know, I made a lot of new friends on Gumball.
Word.
And it's one of the coolest things I've ever done in my life, dude.
The cars looked cool. The paint was nice.
Yeah, man. I mean,
Vipers are fun.
They were cool. It was fun. It was a great time. But I'm hoping to do it next year. It goes from Toronto to Cuba. I'm forming a team right now as we speak.
Cuba. They're letting them bring the cars to Cuba?
Yeah.
Or the cars stay in like Key West or something?
No, the cars are going to go to fucking Cuba.
They go to Cuba?
The cars go everywhere. That's the point. The thing about Gumball is stamina.
I know.
You got to make it from beginning to end and be at every checkpoint and in every party every night. And I'm forming a team as we speak, man.
All right.
I am. We'll see what happens, bro. But my good friend in Canada, he owns a brand called Hexo. It's like the first $1 billion weed brand. Mm-hmm. And he loves cars.
I think I remember. I think I bought some of that when I was there.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the experience of buying weed in Canada. It was nice. It was very civilized.
Yeah. So they are like one of the big brands up there. They brought Wu-Tang up there and all this stuff. They're HEXO. They're amazing. So he might, you know, get behind like a Hexo team for Gumball.
I mean, anything that's like sponsored by ganja, usually fine with me.
Yeah, well, dude, I think I'm going to Jamaica next year to paint at the Marley House, man.
Really?
Yeah.
To paint what?
To probably,
like a wall?
Probably a portrait of Bob for the family.
Like on a canvas or on a wall?
On the house.
Fuck out of here, really?
Yeah, man.
That's wild.
Very excited.
That'd be
about
really
it.
cool.
It's in the works right now. We haven't finalized the deal, but that's a big.
That
one
would
to
be
me.
the jam.
It's a big one for me.
Yeah.
Because I love dance hall, I love reggae, and going there to paint for the Bob Marley family is so mega.
Yeah, that's real crazy.
These days, I get to do some cool stuff every once in a while. That's one of them.
Well, that's last question before we get out of here. Nick wants to know, what other artists do you admire? He worked with Rogue One in Scotland and was astounded by the speed of it.
Word.
Amazing art.
Oh man, there's so many right now. Aryz, Aryz, he's one of my favorite muralists right now.
Let me get some imagery so we can see.
There we go.
Who inspires you? Oh yeah, I could see why this inspires you.
Yeah,
Which one do you like here?
amazing.
Oh, here's a big one.
They're all good. But
This
he's
is
like,
cool. Is this in Europe?
He's kind of like an old-fashioned painter, but also Tom Sachs is amazing. SACHS. Love Tom Sachs. I love Murakami, although I feel like Murakami is becoming like such a sneakerhead kind of like hype beast. It's kind of weird.
Would this be Tom? Here.
Tom Sachs. Don't look up mural, just Tom Sachs.
I got like a lot of pictures of a guy.
Tom Sachs is pretty dope. Like Tom Sachs built the space module out of foam core.
Oh.
Okay, like the entire little space unit, all out of foam core, life size. Like he's a madman. Wow. He builds great shit.
Cool.
I don't know, man. I kind of live my own little bubble. Painting is hard, and to be good at it, you have to put in a lot of hours. So I'm not really out looking at art or going to a lot of shows or museums a lot. I'm kind of up my own ass in my own little bubble, man.
I understand. No, people ask me if I see other people's videos and do you hear what whoever said about the car? Like, nah, I was busy doing what I said about the car. Like,
exactly.
So, I know how you feel. That's cool. Get fucking some of Tristan's shit. Hire him to do something. You can be. I mean,
I got posters on my site.
Posters,
and
prints. Can you hook up one of those Pearl Jam posters for me?
Of course
that
I
would
can.
be.
And I brought a book for you, and I brought my custom spray can for you.
Sweet.
I never come empty-handed, bro.
Follow Tristan. Oh, I'm on the wrong section here. Follow Tristan on Instagram. I know it's not the best way to see giant mural art, but it is the best way to know where he'll be painting and what you can buy of his. Right?
There we go. Thank you, bro.
Thanks for coming in. That was awesome. I'm really glad. I hope next time it's less than 10 years. Although, can I come to this car party of yours?
Yeah,
the art car party?
August 3rd.
That's fully my shit. Oh, August 3rd. What time is it, day or night?
It's all day.
It's all day?
Yeah, and all night.
Okay, I'll come during the day. I have a concert that night, but I will come during the day.
We're going to be debuting my F-150 I painted, and I'll have my Lincoln on display, and all the other paintings I made. We're going to have so much crazy shit there. I'm really excited.
Is that open to the public?
It might be RSVP.
Okay.
So I'll probably post it on my Instagram. If people really want to go, they can RSVP and arrange it in advance.
All right, hit up Tristan on Instagram if you want to do that, and buy some of his canvases. Make that bitch like Basquiat.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Matt.
And when you give me one and I go sell it. No.
There we go. That's
Don't fucking come after me, bro. I got kids too. No, thank you guys for joining us on this live program. You know the drill. The Smoking Tire Podcast is powered by Shout Engine. Get your own damn podcast at shoutengine.com. It's easy. All you need is a microphone, a connection to the internet, and ideally, something to say. If you need to store your collector car in West Los Angeles, your boy has got you. WestsideCollectorCarStorage.com. You know that drill, too.